Hey everyone, happy Sunday to you. We're already starting week 4. Few things. I know many of you I have in both classes, some I don't. So some of you are going to hear this twice, but ideally, that's okay because maybe you need to hear it twice. I don't know, but I've looked over your DB. Some of them I commented, some of them I didn't. At the end of the day, you have to follow the guidelines. That's why they're there. Um, you just have to. They're very clearly written out on what the expectations are. So I really need you to review those and follow those. Um, whether it be word counts, whether it be resources, replies to peers. At the end of the day, guys, this is your course and your responsibility. So I'm happy to help any way I can. I can't do it for you. And nobody's in trouble for not doing it. It's just if you don't do it, you lose points. And if you do it, you get the points, right? So one thing about my courses is you don't really often lose points for not doing it right. You lose points for not doing it right. So just keep that in mind, guys, moving forward. Really pay attention to these guidelines. If there's any way I can help, reach out to me. A few of you have, but that's it. I have to assume you know what you're doing if you don't reach out to me. So you talked about the biopsychosocial model. I think for me, this model makes so much sense. It really explains for me, it explains a lot of why you can't just have one treatment for everybody. It's not a one size fits all, right? Because if our genetics are all different, our psychology and the way we process things is very different. And our socio-environmental factors, which everything else in the world, from our families to the neighborhood we grew up in, to the laws on the books, our spiritual beliefs, everything is so different. How can we say there's one treatment for this, right? You're about to experience some meetings if you haven't already, if you're not a member of a program. This week you have your first meeting attendance. 12-step meeting attendance. So NA, AA, CA, Al-Anon, or ACA, Adult Children of Alcoholics. Those are the ones we'll accept. That said, you're gonna see their. Remember, they're not treatment. I know if you're a member, you may say different, but that's okay. They're a self-help group. At the end of the day, they're not clinical. They don't claim to be. And so I have some very fundamental differences as a clinician, but that's okay. It's still a wonderful support either way. So we will talk certainly much more about that after your papers are written next week. Remember, your papers can be turned in anytime throughout the semester for half credit. You'll start with a 50 and I'll grade it from there. So if you don't turn these in, it's not like DBs or quizzes that you can't make up. So keep that in mind. I mean, my hope is you turn it in and get the full points. I don't know why you wouldn't. Keep in mind there's 2 resources. Look, I don't need to go over all that. You can read the instructions. It's very clearly laid out for you. I look forward to reading. You can go online or in person. I would always prefer in person. If you are a member of one of these programs, I need you to hear me on this because you will be sad when I give you a 50. Do not write about a past experience. Go to a new meeting that you have never been to before. I don't care if it's online or across town. If you write about the program itself, a past experience, you compare program, I'm not interested in any of that. I'm going to highlight it and say great information, but not necessary for this paper, right? Write about your experience at that particular meeting. And the reason is you're going to be asking your clients to do the same thing. You're going to have people that have been to AA or NA and coming back and don't want to go back. You're going to be having people who have never been before at all. The reality is the support is wonderful. So I really do look forward to reading your papers. Now, at the end of this 4-week period, this course will just really repeat itself, right? For the next 3 sets of 4 weeks, for the next 12 weeks. You're going to have a DB next week, a quiz, a DB, and a paper. That's how it's going to go every week here. It's just going to repeat itself. What's cool about next week is it's just a summary of your paper this week, right? You can. I don't want you to copy and paste your paper. If you do that, you will lose points. I promise you. Hear me on that. Summarize your paper. You can use the same resources. You can even use the same, literally the same information. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's meant to be an easy week, right? But what I don't want is you to copy and paste your paper. We want to keep it, you want to summarize your paper, right? And again, these things are so important as your counselors in training, learning how to be with clients, right? Summarizing their information, reframing their information. All these things we do at this level have merit, and there's a reason behind them. It's not just some professor like myself just said, oh, I think this number sounds good. There's a reason I chose the numbers I chose for the word counts. There's a reason I chose to use resources. There's a reason for these things. Trust me, even if you don't see it now, you're in learning, you're training, right? In training to learn how to be a counselor, and these things matter. So, guys, I mentioned in another video, I have 3 dogs. So, if you will email me how many dogs I have before Tuesday night, anything after Tuesday, I will not accept. I will add 5 points to any grade you have if that's something available. If you don't have a place for me to add them, if you have 100, I can't add them. But if you have a 49, I'll give you 1. If you have a 45, I'll give you 5. So free 5 points. Just email me how many dogs I have, and by Tuesday night, because you should be logging into these videos by, Monday, right? Or tonight or Monday. You need to know what's going on for the week. Any way I can be of help, I'm happy to do so, and we'll talk soon.